On today's episode, we'll talk about the job of the on-set dresser, the importance of not getting your feelings hurt, Killers of the Flower Moon, Eddington, and of course, starting out as a grip when you don't even know what a C-stand is. Just a little bit of business before we start. There may be a curse word here or there in this episode, so please listen responsibly. As always, our website, theop.io, is up and chock full of tips, tricks, and gooey operator goodness. Make sure to check out The Breakdown, where the best operators in the biz explain shots they have done, The Musings, where we discuss everything from quick tips to larger concepts of storytelling, the answers, the images, and so much more. I may or I may not take a break or two during this episode, but I promise that none of them will be longer than 22 seconds. Finally, if you are enjoying the podcast, please follow us, write a review, share us with your parents, and talk us up around the water cooler with your friends. So grab a beverage, sit back, and enjoy the op. Thanks for listening.
Lock it up, nice and quiet, and let's roll.
Rolling! Victor 30 Echo, take 2.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
And camera set. And action.
Hello and welcome back to the Op Podcast, the podcast where we talk about operating and the art of visual storytelling. My name is Dave Comides, and I am your host, and I am coming to you today from fabulous Inman Park in Atlanta, where I am doing a show. And I have a really great guest that I'm working with today, and actually someone who fills a crew position that I've wanted to talk to for a while, Aaron Robert Hall, who is an on-set dresser. And I will just say right now, one of the best on-set dressers I've worked with, but we'll get to that. Some of the things, but not all by any means, that he's worked on: Yellowstone, Eddington, Killers of the Flower Moon, Fly Me to the Moon, The Magnificent Seven. He is fantastic at his job, and as you will hear, is a position that is absolutely like we work together just right next to each other, in each other's faces all day, making the set be the best that it can be. It's an absolute pleasure to work with him and to have him here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be here.
By the way, just for anybody coming up, Aaron brought cappuccinos and pastries, and if you're coming to do a podcast, doesn't hurt, right?
Right.
So listen, for anybody who's listening to this, who's not in the film industry, what is your job?
So my job technically is the position of the on-set dresser, which somebody who doesn't know the technical term of that might think it's the costume department, but it's not.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I represent the art department and the set decoration department while we're on set. So I am the production designer's eyes and ears and the set decorator's eyes and ears and hands on set while we are shooting. So I represent the production designer and the set decorator while we shoot on set.
That's so funny because I sort of know that, but I never thought about that way. So do they, we get to a set, right? And it's dressed and it's all, and then of course you go in there and you tweak things, and I go in there and go, we got to move this, we got to move that. But do they give you like an overall, like, hey, by the way, just make sure that we see this because this is super important, or like, I don't want to lose that, or, do they talk about that stuff ahead of time with you?
Absolutely. It's actually a key part of their vision to be upheld. And that's why the on-set dresser's position is so important to them.
Yeah.
Because their vision can be steamrolled in a moment with a director or camera operator's vision compared to theirs.
Yeah.
Because an operator would be like, that wall is really dead. Let's put something there
Which
right
I've
now.
done to you before, and
And the designer is like, no, that is supposed to be there. It's telling my part of the story. I have my scenic aging that so we feel desolate and dirty, and it's giving our part of the vision to the story. And they, before going on set, before we shoot, they tell me what their vision is, how they want it to go, and what to preserve.
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me, but I never thought about it on those levels. But I remember we were shooting in a bar a couple of weeks ago, and I said to you, like, hey, that door, can we put a sign on that door? And then you came back a couple minutes later, and you're like, no, actually, the art director wants to see all the dirt on that door. And then I noticed the dirt, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a dirty bar door, and that's how they wanted to sell it.
But that's really cool. And then from my point of view, like for anybody, there's two things that I think make an on-set dresser so important to me. Are number one, just the physicality of like, hey, we're never gonna make it by that couch Like, can we move it? Or more importantly, like, how much can we cheat it and get away with it? Which you and I are always talking about. Like, yeah, we can move it a foot, but I don't think we move it more than that. So how do we get around that? And then there's the other thing of just like making everything look better and telling the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people don't understand is there is how we dressed it, how the decorator has dressed it, how the production designer has laid out their vision, and those two department heads coming to this creation. And then when we land, it is now our playground.
Yeah.
So what we do in that situation is if we need to move the set around, we absolutely move it around because the end game and the end point is we need it to look good in the frame.
It's
We
only
need-
what's on frame that makes a difference.
It
right?
does, because if you have it set up in this situation and you're so strict to be like, that cannot move, that was put there for a reason, and we never see it, well, it didn't make it. So
yeah, exactly.
the whole
That's
thing
right.
is an overtone, and a fully dressed set is giving the camera operators and the director and the actors a playground.
Yeah.
So now this is their sandbox. And this sandbox is just full of tools to use to make it look as good as possible because the designer and the decorator don't ultimately know where the camera's going to be.
Sure.
They can have talks about it with the DP and with the director of where we're shooting, but we all know on the day that can completely change.
Yeah, and even what we go in with can completely change because an actor can go like, "Oh, that doesn't work for me" or whatever.
Yeah.
But so do they send you pictures of the set and they like literally like go they circle the clock and go, I want to make sure we see this clock. Like, do they give you notes on the day or ahead of time or before production starts, or how does that work?
So, how a designer and a decorator dress a set and come to a vision to storytell, they will go through the script, break it down, and pull out key elements that they want to have seen to help tell their story.
Okay.
So, we'll talk about major elements that do want to be seen or certain Easter eggs that do want to be seen. We will go over this ahead of time and we will talk about if we can get it in frame, let's get it in frame. If we can showcase it, let's showcase it. But in the end, ultimately, they know that anything can be
Yeah.
nixed by the director. But there are battles to be fought with the director and the camera operators for what can go and what can't. So that's where my position is a double-edged sword. I have to walk a fine line because
Yeah.
I have to honor my decorator and designer's vision while giving the DP and the director what they want as
Yeah.
well. So I have to pick and choose my battles.
Yep,
Because
yep.
if I have extreme loyalty on one side, I'm telling the director no.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go over
Yeah.
very well often because I know who wins.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But I think that's, I mean, it's in a weird way, I think that you and I have very similar jobs in that like I have the DP's vision and the director's vision, and then I have what the actors need, and then I have what the physicality of the camera is, and you have to like play that game of like, where do you go and who do you, and some of the people have to win some of the time and whatever, but you have to be very political about it.
Absolutely.
Which I hadn't really thought of, but I've gotten way ahead of ourselves. Even though I'm glad that you set that up. How'd you get into business? What's your story?
Oh, wow. This is a funny one. So I came up and cut my teeth in Austin, Texas.
Awesome.
I was a working musician there, and I had met my future wife, and she was in the film industry in the set decoration department. I was working at bars in town, being a bartender and bar back at some very, very interesting bars there in town. and
Okay.
and I was coming home at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. after closing the bars, and she's going to work on film sets.
Yeah.
And she's like, this isn't going to work. So I was like, okay. I don't know what else I'm going to do. That's what I do for work. And
Yeah.
she goes, I think you'd be a very good set dresser.
Why? Like what?
Because my house was like decorated.
Oh, she saw
and
your style and-
she saw
okay.
my
Oh, cool.
style,
Yeah.
and she goes, man, you'd be really good set dresser. And I was like, well, what is that? And she explained the position to me, and I said, wait,
That's a job.
they pay you to do that? They pay you to like,
You had no interest in the film industry before this.
well, I mean,
mean,
other
other
than
than-
being a cinephile,
Yeah.
like I loved movies till I died.
That's great.
Yeah, but I just, being a musician and focusing on that, I was just gung ho on that. It didn't even dawn on me that it was a working, reality because
Yeah.
I always just thought it was LA. and New York, and that's it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, and that it was one of those guarded camps that you don't get into unless you went to film school. So I didn't realize the whole rest of the working part of the industry. And so she said I'd be a good set dresser, and there was an opportunity coming up. She had a movie in Louisiana that was starting. She goes, I think we could probably break you in here.
This is non-union, I'm assuming.
It is a full union show.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was during a very busy time.
Oh.
Where they needed a lot of people and talented, like the rosters were exhausted. So they were bringing in people. And so my wife became a set dresser on the Magnificent Seven in Louisiana, New Orleans. And she brought me along. She goes, I think there's a good opportunity that they'll need somebody, and we can get you in, and you could get some days. You can start working towards your union card. I was like, okay, well, let's see how it goes. And nothing was happening. She was working. It was tough to get any yeses or get any opportunities. One of her coworkers said, hey, the grip department is desperately looking for grips. Can your husband grip? And she goes, oh, absolutely. And she goes, you can grip, right, honey? And I'm like, absolutely.
With what?
What's a grip?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And so his friend went to the grip department, to the best boy, and said, I got a guy. He's really great. Give him a shot. So they brought me in, and this is absolutely my very first day ever walking onto a set, walking into grip world, cameras, and this was the Magnificent Seven, so it was a very large, well-established Antoine.
This was a movie or like a mini-series?
It's a movie.
Okay, it was a feature.
Full-blown.
Remake, okay.
Yeah, Anton Fuqua, Denzel Washington.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I remember this now.
The full shebang. So it was a big one. And they had built the whole set, was a whole Western city they had built. So I had walked into the grip department, and the best boy, I interviewed with him, and he liked what I had to say, and they threw me in. And the thing was, my wife said to me before my first day, she goes, all right, this is a fake it to make it situation. You just need to pay attention, work your butt off, which I know you can know how to do. And all you need to do is go onto YouTube and learn how to set up a C-stand.
Get out of here. And that's what you did?
Well, I did all that except the YouTube thing. And so I got onto this gig. I'm working with these guys. I'm setting flags. I'm trying to figure out all of the crazy terminology of everything because everything has a name.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is like taking a second language class.
Yeah, it is, actually.
And, I'm on set working with these guys, and I'm on the trucks figuring out how things work, doing gels and all that stuff.
Wow.
And I had a week and a half into it, and I'm on the 53-foot truck of the main Key Grips truck. And I had yet to meet the Key Grip. I'd only been working with the best boy. Okay. Because it was such a big show.
Yeah.
And the Key Grip walks up, and he puts his hands on the back of the truck, and he's like, hey, new kid, would you hand me that C-stand?
How old are you at this point, by the way?
I'm 35.
Okay, all right.
Hey, new kid, hand me that C-stand. And at that point, I realized I did not watch that video.
Oh, you don't even know what a C-stand is.
I did not watch that video. And in the week and a half that I'd been there, I didn't pick that up.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there on this man's truck looking around going, well, okay.
I got one shot.
And so I point just to the left of me randomly, and I said, these? And it was a huge stack of apple boxes.
Oh my God. Oh.
And so...
Wait, what was his response?
He turned completely red.
Oh.
I could tell that...
Did you know he was the Key Grip? Or did you just think he was another guy?
I knew
he was someone.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You probably didn't know
he
what a Key
definitely
Grip
was the boss.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he turned beet red. he planted both of his hands at the end of the table, or at the end of the truck,
Yeah.
looked at me and said, "Kid, have you ever done this before?" And I step away. I put my hands behind my back. And I shirk a little and say, "No, sir. I never have."
Which is probably the right answer. It might be the only right answer you could come up with there, but yeah.
He threw his hands in the air, started cursing at his crew.
Oh.
He looks at his best boy and goes, "Why the hell is this kid that doesn't even know what a C-stand is on my 53-foot truck on this movie?" And starts kind of tearing into everybody.
Oh.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? And they're all like, "Man, we thought he'd been doing this forever.
Oh,
He's really
man.
good. We don't know. We didn't know." And then he chilled out for a second, and he said, "I can't believe this kid is on the back of my truck. What are we gonna do? He's either leaving the truck or we're gonna figure something out." And then he goes, "Do you vouch for him? Do you vouch for him? Do you vouch for him?" And he went to all of his crew.
Yeah.
And the whole crew said, "Well, now that we know he doesn't know anything, we can teach him everything."
All right.
And so the whole crew vouched for me. Then he looked at me. He calmed down. And he said, "All right, kid, I don't know how you made it on the back of my truck. And I don't know how the crew likes you so much, but they do. So they all vouch for you. We're going to give you a shot. But from now on, we're going to call you Greenhorn. So Greenhorn, get me that damn C-stand off the back of my truck."
This is great.
And that was my introduction
only in the film
to the
industry.
industry.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I was almost a grip. A week and a half later, I got called into the set decoration department and started my set decoration.
And the grips
career.
really take him.
No, they loved me. They were very
Did
upset.
you learn a lot in that week?
You know, I did. Because I was on set. Setting big flags to camera.
You were okay.
You
good.
know,
So
we were in it.
You got the feeling
Yeah.
of how it worked and whatever.
Yeah,
That's
because
cool.
they threw me in the set grip stuff too, and I was like, "This is crazy. This is wild."
Yeah.
I always wanted to be in the art department because I'm an artist, so that was my ultimate goal. But this was my first opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the art department called you, and what did you start doing with them?
I started set dressing.
Right off the bat.
Yeah,
Wow.
but not on set dressing, regular set dressing. So there's two different levels. There is the set decoration department that comes in before shooting and after shooting. So construction builds the sets, paints it, and set deck comes in and decorates the whole vision of what you see. Like everything that you see was put there by the set decoration department.
Yeah. So you were doing that before we come in. And
Yeah.
then- okay. So at least you probably it's like probably a baby step towards being an onset on some level.
Yeah, and it's actually, if you go straight to onsetting, you miss a huge step of understanding the job, of how a set moves, how everything is put on, how we put things on the wall temporarily, how just how set dressing works, understanding that piece of it. Because if you just walk into it, you don't know the basic mechanics of how we've dressed the set and how you work with the decorator's vision and what to keep and what not to keep and how to move things correctly. So I feel that people who walk into the on-set dresser position without previously being a set dresser, they're missing a big tool in their tool set.
On a level, and I think this is something that's fallen by the wayside. It used to be that you were kind of a loader, and then you were a second AC, and then a first AC,
Right.
and then an operator, and that was back when the first AC sat next to the operator, so they actually learned like that stuff
Right.
and whatever, which is now another thing. But now it's like a lot of second ACs will jump to operating or whatever, and it's the same kind of thing where you've missed a lot of what you learned just through osmosis and all that other stuff. I totally get that. So how long were you, I don't know where you came into the movie. Oh, you started, I guess, at the beginning. So you were there for like a couple of months probably or something?
I was there for the duration of the movie. Like we started at the start, like with the grip scenario, and then moved into the set dressing part and was there till wrap. And that's where I met my lead man, Phil Shirey, rest in peace. He ended up being my mentor. He took me back to Austin, Texas, where I was from, and that's where he was based out of. And I moved into his world and quickly became one of his right-hand man.
Now, when you say lead man, I don't know what's lead man is the head of the set dressers, or
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Because
Gotcha.
there's the set
That's a
decorator.
whole world I'm not aware of. Yeah,
We have a set decorator who is in charge of the vision, and that's top down. And then the lead man is the person who runs the set dressers,
Gotcha.
who's in
Okay.
charge of
Yeah.
bringing that whole vision
So it's
together.
almost like the key grip is to the grip department is I gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so basically he saw you knew what you were doing and you were smart and could learn and whatever.
He's
and
like,
so
come on.
that's great.
And I never quit. I never quit working a day after that.
Wow, how long did you work with him for?
I worked with him up until his death. He got cancer early and passed, and that was really tough for us. He was a mentor to a lot of us, but he was the one who really saw me, brought me on, and taught me everything he knew.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say personally, thank you to him because he did a great job. Obviously, having worked
Those
with
Texas guys, they know how to do it, man. I've worked in a lot of places, a lot of different crews, but
Yeah.
that Texas crew is one of the best crews I've ever worked with in my
you.
whole
Wow.
life. So I feel very lucky.
How long did it take till you made? I mean, is it a natural progression to go to onset?
Well, to be honest, most set dressers do not want to be on set, and they won't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Just because there's so much more pressure and everything,
There's pressure, the hours,
Yeah.
having to deal with
sure.
so many different departments telling them what to do, and
I mean, when you're a set dresser, is it like a 9 to 5 or like a 10-hour day or whatever usually?
it's
or?
a 10 to 12 hour day. It's a 12-hour day usually, but it's
It's got to be
normal.
calmer.
Yeah, it is. You come in on regular. You come in early. You leave.
Yeah.
At your normal 10, 12
I gotcha.
hours, depending. You have a long lunch, and it's pretty normal. They're hard days. They're worse days.
But you're not coming in at 7 p.m. and finishing at
No,
7 a.m.
there's no
Yeah.
overnighters. There's none of that
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But was it something you wanted to do then, or did you stumble into it? How'd you get to that?
To the onset dresser
Yeah.
position, that came with time because you're not exposed to that. Like we're always, the set dresser and the set deck department is always before or after.
Yeah.
We're never like in your face unless we're turning sets around, and we're never on set. So I was a set dresser. I wanted to eventually become a lead man because that was the next step.
Yep.
And then once I started seeing, I got put on set as help for an onset dresser.
Who
And
always
then I
needs
got
help.
to see that world.
Yeah.
And once I saw and tasted that side of the world, I was like, man, this is cool.
It's always amazing to me that I show up on big things and there's like one on-set dresser, and it's like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
Because you're always getting pulled 14 different ways.
It takes
It's
two people to lift a couch, and then I've got
Yes.
16 people that need something.
I know, it's incredible. But so that was something you wanted to do. So what was your first opportunity to do that?
My first opportunity was Alita Battle Angel, which was a Robert Rodriguez, James Cameron film.
Oh wow.
Which was very big. We built this huge.
Was this like at his like little studio that he owns?
Troublemaker,
Is
yeah.
that in Austin or?
Yeah,
Okay.
Austin,
it is,
Texas,
yeah.
at Troublemaker Studios, and David Hack was the set decorator, and what a talented set decorator! My gosh, we built this huge world, and it was so elaborate and so futuristic with these old Cuban tones. It was magnificent.
That's
I'd
awesome.
never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And I was a set dresser on that, and I got the opportunity to be that on-set dresser's second on-set on busy days and second unit stuff.
Okay.
So that's when I really got to feel it,
Yeah,
really got the taste of it, and I'm like, this is incredible.
And is Rodriguez DPing that as well, or
Bill Pope was the DP.
Bill Pope was the DP?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
he's a personality.
Yeah.
I love Bill Pope, but he can be a tough guy to work with if you're not on your game.
Yeah, I could see him being a grip killer. But he was fantastic. It was huge sets with tons of lighting setups.
Yeah.
And, that was really when I fell in love with it because I got to see all the things that my department and other departments do to get to this point of action, which is incredible.
Yeah.
How all this works to get to this one point, and then getting to see the cameras get set up, the lights put into place, the flag set up to get shades right and things just perfect, just for action.
Yeah.
And it was just so spellbound and magnificent. I was like, this is it.
That's awesome.
This is where I want to be.
That's great.
And at that point, I was like, I think I'm in love.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go back. It's just so exciting. And then, you know, all the hustle too, because it's not a place for a lazy man. Like,
yeah,
there's definitely opportunities where you're chilling, but it's super exciting, very fast paced, and you have to know what you're doing.
Now, nowadays, you always, I see you on set, you've always got your iPad with whatever cameras are on there so you can see it. Back then, were you standing behind the monitor all the time?
Yes, that was before Q-Take and before Viewer. That was the old school way where you had to, you know, sneak over the first AC's shoulder and not breathe down his face or chew gum.
Yeah.
Because you'll get kicked out of there and you'll lose your monitor privileges.
Yep.
And then, you know, when you're young too, it's a little scary to push your way towards a director's tent or, you know, get close to the DP's monitor, because those are the only places you're going to see what's going on.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're looking at, well, you can't do your job.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So it was finding a way to be inconspicuous, but also be able to catch everything.
Well, and that's the politics part of it, right? That's the big part. Is like, how do you be there without being there?
Yeah.
Be involved without being involved, and all that crap that we all do all day long. So I mean, I'll tell you, one of the things there's so many things that I love about working with you. I'm just going to flatter you for a second. That everybody could learn from. I mean, number one, you're always there. Like, there's 9 times out of 10 where I'm like, Aaron, and you're like standing like 2 feet behind me. I'm like, oh God. But also, like, you don't stop looking at the set. Like, it's fantastic because you've always got your Q-Take. And the thing that really blew me away on like day 1 or maybe day 2 was I needed a plant. You may remember this. I needed a plant moved to put my Steadicam stand, so it wasn't even in the frame. It was like we were shooting the opposite direction. You came and grabbed it, and you put a piece of tape on the wall that said, like, put me back or something like that, a black piece of tape. And I was like, what's that? And you were like, well, I don't want to forget it. And I think you also said, and if I do forget it and you look at it, you're going to go, you'll remind me or something like that or whatever. And I was like, I've never seen anybody do that before. I was like, that's brilliant. Like, is that something you just came up with yourself?
It is.
Is it okay that I just gave that out to everybody else?
No, please. Yeah, I want all the onsets to be better.
But the thing that I loved about it was like, and don't take this the wrong way, it's not rocket science, but it's genius at the same time. It's like one of those low tech, like, this is a foolproof way to do something. And now I see you doing it all the time. It's fantastic.
So the thing about that is when I pull something away, if I don't give myself a reminder and I get pulled away for 5 more tasks,
because you're the only person,
and then I'm doing this last task that's away from this first thing that I did, and it's like, all right, rolling, and I scram out of there. If you see that and I miss it, you're like, what's that black tape?
Yep.
Why does that say put me back? It's so... There was a mirror there. There was a painting there. There was something that we have in a shot that we got before, and we're going to blow continuity.
That needs to be there, yeah. But that's what blew my mind about it. It wasn't only a reminder for you. It was like we can't shoot this.
Yeah. It gives us a fail-safe there. And, you know, when you have so much stuff going on, it's easy to forget. No one's perfect. That's why I have devised ways to help me not forget.
Yeah.
Like you see me with my continuity slate.
Yep.
I have a little magic erase board that says continuity, and I take pictures of the whole set,
of everything,
or as things move, as the director moves them and the set changes. That way we know where we're at all the time, and we have full reference photos to know what's been established, what's gone away. Otherwise you can't remember all that stuff all day.
I'm just absolutely amazed at that. And like, you were so organized, and the other day you were showing me that every night you go home and you put everything in order, like all the continuity takes, all the things you've taken off your Q-Take, I mean, all that stuff, so that you have it down the road. Which just like, again, it's that whole side that I don't see, that I'm like, that's amazing to me that all that is there.
I do the continuity folder and photos so how do I say it? I stay on top of them every day and build such a extensive, cohesive folder because you never know when you're going to need it. And when you need those photos, you need them now.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a minute. We don't have 2 minutes.
You
That's
immediately pull it
That's a
up.
lifetime.
Yeah.
When we're shooting,
That's
2
true.
minutes is like
Yeah.
count 120 seconds.
Yeah.
We've already moved on.
Well, but I can't count how many times like we're actually rolling and you're like pulling the last piece in because I've just been like, oh, we're gonna see over here. I didn't tell you this
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that, and by no fault of your own, but you're always just like
Yeah.
right there to do it. It's amazing.
I do it to save time because time is our money on set.
Yep.
Like it really is. We are cooking, we're moving, and if you're waiting on me, everyone's waiting on me.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one in and last one out.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta check it out. I gotta see what you're seeing. A thing that I do that I would hope more on-set dressers would do is as soon as there's a camera up or there is a viewer up with the DP showing you your shot, to stand right behind you guys and get the first look of what you're looking at.
Yep.
That way I can tell what my first steps need to be to start helping you get things out of the way for the dollies, for the grips, see what we're looking at, see what needs to happen, and start doing foresight on that next shot setup.
So I was going to ask you that. Is the first thing you do go, what are we physically going to have to deal with in order to get the dolly where it goes or the Steadicam where it goes or whatever? Like, do you start with that and then work backwards from there?
I do. I start with what you guys need first so we can get a camera set.
Just to execute the shot.
Yes.
And
Well,
then-
first, so we can get your dolly in and we
Yep.
can get your camera up. That way the DP can start doing their light work and then the grips start doing their thing.
Oh, so you're saying even like just physically pulling the dolly in, like we're going to have to pull that couch out of the way
Yes.
to get the dolly into the room
Yeah.
or something. Oh, I got you.
Because you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
set just with a camera
Yep,
right
yep,
now, like
yep.
with a viewer on an iPhone.
Yeah.
And then I'm immediately going, all right, we're putting 2 dollies back here and they're going to throw track.
This is going to have
This
to go.
all has to leave first, and then I'll deal with my part
yep.
after you guys are set up with setting up the frame and making sure everything looks right and that the set dressing is good, that we need to pull some things in. This lamp is going to grow out of the top of that person's head, so we need to move it over this way and start zhuzhing the set.
Yeah.
So I give it to camera and grip and lighting first
Yep.
so we can get a camera up and get moving.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you guys will just start grabbing stuff and moving it.
So what you're saying is when I'm saying, hey, we're going to have to pull that couch to get the dolly in here, like you've already thought of it 5 minutes before I have.
As soon as the DP's showing you your shot, that's what's on my head.
I should know that by now. But literally, that does bring up a thing that it's funny because I've run into some people, not necessarily set dressers, but on-set dressers, but other people as well, who get frustrated like when you say something they already know. But to me, it's actually like it's a business of redundancy.
Absolutely.
Like I'd rather it be said 3 times because then everybody A knows and B everybody's checking each other. Like,
Absolutely.
Because if I suddenly go like, no, we don't need to be that couch, then you might go, well, wait a minute, aren't we doing the shot here? And I might be wrong or you might be wrong. You know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, we're just double checking each other all the time.
Because like you said, there's not enough time to not double check each other to make that mistake.
And there's not enough time for the ego of it.
That's true. Yeah.
Like we're all working towards one goal. And if you have a mindset with your coworkers that, you know, there's going to be sharp days where we're short with each other or, you know, we're moving so fast, there's not a nice way to ask this. We're just asking for it.
Yep.
You know, don't get your feelings hurt. Also, yeah, that's the job. We're moving towards that goal. And it might not be your job to do that, but you should just get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this: what are the best things that camera operators, like for younger camera operators, what's the best thing they can do to work well with you? And then I'm going to ask you what the worst thing.
That's a good question. I think the best thing a camera operator can do is build a relationship with their on-set dresser to where they find a flow with each other, a respectable balance. You know, because an on-set dresser needs to respect each craft and their boundaries and understand what they can and can't do, what they should and shouldn't do. But with an operator, if you get a good relationship with your on-set, they'll be your right hand. You don't have to get out of your chair or get off your dolly and go move stuff and go put your lamp in and, get things out of the way. They can really have a symbiotic relationship where we are both working this frame.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice to an operator would be like, strike a relationship with your onset if they're there and they're willing to be there and they're paying attention. Give them the time of day to become a tool in your toolbox.
That's great. And do they do that simply by respecting and understanding that there's more to your job than just moving something so we can do our job? You like we said, like, we've got to move that couch because the dolly has to come through there, but we also want to see the couch somehow because that's important for the scene or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's because an onset that's paying attention has read the script, has read what's going on, knows what the story is going to be for the day. And because there's something that looks good in your frame, in your shot that you want, it might not be telling the story of what the designer has established and is going for. So it's not a battle against you or a onset dresser telling you no. It's them just trying to say, hey, this is what my boss told me to kind of keep in mind as we go forward.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing, just kind of understanding that there might be something behind it, but ultimately we just talk about it, and it's all about getting the frame looking good, and does it serve the story?
Yeah. Well, but that's actually the thing that I think is what you just does it serve the story is, I think that's the key to it. That's the key to the entire thing. Should be the key to everything that we do, right?
Yeah.
And
Does
it's
it
like
serve the story?
one of the things that I love working about you with is like, yeah, we'll get the couch out of there, we'll get the dolly in there, we'll do all the physical stuff that's the boring, annoying crap.
Right.
And then it's like building it back up. And there have been times where I've thought like, God, Aaron and I have talked about that lamp in the back of the shot for 4.5 minutes straight with nothing else, and we still haven't come to it, but we're both figuring out exactly how much it should be there and how much it shouldn't. And it's great because it's not about right or wrong, it's just about that's part of the story, so it's important that it frames the shot or whatever. I absolutely so appreciate the detail that you put into it, like, how much emphasis you put on these things. It's great. It's the best.
And then I have a B cam to worry about too.
And sometimes a C cam, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm always amazed by that. It's just like it's like it's like you have dual personalities going on or multiple personalities. You got to keep an eye on all that.
All of them. Yeah, when you have 3 cameras up, that's when you're like, all right. Because if you're not paying attention, that doesn't mean that everything else stops. Like, it is moving so fast without you. If you step away and you're not there, it gets away from you.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. They're going to shoot what they shoot, but it just might not be, as tight as it could be.
Yeah. Well, and that's why it's like I see you with a Q-take and I watch you moving a lamp, and I know you're moving it for both cameras because you're watching both cameras, and I think like, man, how did they do this before that? Because it probably was like zhuzhing it and then running back to the monitor.
It is the running game. It was. And then, and then it gets to a point where you could work a set all day to perfection, but at the end of the day, the first AD is like, all right, rolling, camera's up.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you just got to be like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You got to walk away. And then, in the end, once you see the edit and once you see the final product, you're like, man, they didn't even use that.
I spent all that time on that, but that's part of it. Is like, but might.
You never know.
You have to.
Yeah, you gotta strive for.
And so let me ask you about cheating, because cheating's a huge thing, right?
Okay,
so is that just something that you learn over time by failing and succeeding, and like how much you can get away with, or is every situation completely just judging it and going? I mean, do you think, will that cut? Is that what you're thinking, or?
Yes, I think about the edit all the time as I'm dressing. I'm like, gosh, is this? If we push this couch in so much to feel it, is the audience...
Is it going to jump around the room as we cut around?
Is it going to start feeling awkward? Is it going to be like peripherally wrong?
Yeah.
And you can get away with a lot with cheating.
I'm amazed by how much you can get away with.
And I'm a big fan of it because it's all about making it look good. And the final thing is making that frame look good.
Yeah.
That's the last thing for me. But if you go too far, you're like, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then you can see it, and then it just feels uncomfortable. But yeah, you could chase a couch around the room, you could chase a lamp around the room, and it can get tough.
So is a lot just like going by what your gut tells you?
Yeah, it's also like you said, trial and error and failing.
Yeah.
Because if you cheat something too much, one of the bosses is going to come in and be like, "Why'd you do that?" And that's never a good feeling when the DP,
Yeah.
makes you feel dumb.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't know about you, but like I tend to like I'll frame things up and then I just look at it and a lot of times I'll look away and then look back and I'll
Yes.
see what's bothering me or what's like pulling me in, and is that good or is that bad? I mean, is it the same kind of feeling?
That is absolutely the same kind of feeling. I approach it as what does my eye go to first?
Yeah.
That's why, like, if I see something too hot, something too white, something too bright, this lamp is really, really taking over the frame. That's how I feel what you can catch is good or not. And it is a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. Like what you said, you turn away and then look at it again. What jumps out to you?
Yeah.
Because nothing should compete with the actors so much to where your attention is just going to that. If your eye is going to that, that's the problem.
Robert De Niro's talking, and all you can do is look at like the Ferris wheel miniature in the background. or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
you're
that.
distracted.
That has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Unless it serves the story, then it's a visual impediment.
That makes perfect sense. So let me ask you this, because I don't know if you remember this, but when I start a show and I meet the onset dresser, I always introduce myself. I go, "Hey, so excited to work with you," like blah blah blah, and I will always say, I think I said this to you, like, "Hey, are you okay if I tweak stuff as long as I let you know about it or whatever?" Because there is only one of you most of the time. On this show, you have someone who's sort of helping you out and learning from you, which is
Right.
amazing to watch. But a lot of times it's only one person. Most onset dressers will go, "Totally get it, just let me know," or whatever. And then there are one or two that I've worked with who are like, "I don't want you touching anything." And I'm like, well, this is going to slow us down, but I respect it at the same time. So is that something that you appreciate being asked early on? Or because there's a reality to sometimes I do have to just reach in and tweak something or whatever where we don't have the time to get you in there. How does that play? Because I don't want to step on your job, but
No, that's a very good scenario and question. An onset that's paying attention will be by your side most of the time.
yeah.
But then there's scenarios where, they're not as present. Maybe they haven't been trained in a certain way, or they believe the job is a certain way.
Or they could be just getting pulled too many places.
Or
You know,
exactly. But as far as the operator working the set, absolutely. Like, I hope they do, because again, it's supposed to serve the frame and serve the story. And if you need to tweak this, you need to tweak it. And pulling me in if I'm across the room and
Yep.
I'm not there in time to get it, it just needs to get done. Being told is great. Micro moves are super easy because nothing's changed drastically.
Yeah.
It's when dressing gets pulled out of the room around the corner and it gets lost and we don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us to keep track of things that get moved drastically, because putting them back and keeping continuity is a huge part of our job. But again, that goes down to the relationship that an operator has with their onset, because there should just be a trust and a bond there already that, hey man, we're in this together and we have each other's backs.
I think that's so correct, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you are in it together completely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say like I work as much as with the onset as I do with like the AC. I mean, maybe even more so nowadays on some level. But so is that the best way for a younger operator to handle it early on, just to like introduce them and go, "Hey, I want to find out what are you comfortable with?" And I mean, is that?
Yeah, no, that's great. It's like a simple conversation and an acknowledgement, because a lot of times, camera department can be elusive, not elusive, but like in a different like setting,
Yeah.
because if you speak with the onset early on, you form a bond, then you guys are talking about it.
Yeah.
You guys have formed a relationship where it could easily be, I never talk to this person and they're kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because they're telling me what I can't do.
Yep.
And it's easy to go the other way with that.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me how many personalities come together on a set, and we have to navigate these personalities, and everyone has, their flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we come down to do this job, and we are in each other's lives and faces for 3 to 6 months, doing some heavy, long hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it could get salty.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
We've all been there before. But
Or it could be really great and symbiotic, and like we're just dialed in and cooking.
But I think the place that comes from, which you talked about, is A, you respect each other's jobs, and
Yeah.
B, you realize it's not like an all or nothing thing. And at the end of the day, like I was just listening to a podcast where someone mentioned this, is like the star of the movie is the movie.
Yeah.
It's not you and it's not me and
Right.
it's not the actors. It's the whole thing, right? So like if the lamp in the background is making you go, I can't watch what this person is saying, then the lamp in the background has to go.
Just lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then how do you deal with things like what I did the other day where I said, I'm absolutely not going to see those chairs. Can you move them? And then you came in after the shot, which had changed, and you were like, you saw that the chairs weren't there. And I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I mean, do you just sort of take that in stride? And
Yes. Well,
I felt so badly about
it's
that.
all good because you evaluate how much did we see,
How bad is it?
how obvious was it?
Yeah.
Since you were close up in a Steadicam setup on the actress, we are sitting there moving around the room. I can't really tell.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
if I dissect it, I know that the chairs are stacked and
Yeah.
the lamp is in the wrong place, but.
Will the audience know?
No, because the audience is focused on the actor. So if
Exactly,
you look
yeah.
at the actor, your peripheral doesn't even see it at all,
Yep.
which means it's not seen.
Yeah, when I was at NYU, we had a professor for sight and sound film, which was like the first film shooting course, and he said, I want to show you a movie that I just finished. It was this movie called Blades, which is out somewhere, and it was basically like Jaws on a golf course. It was about a lawnmower that had a mind of its own and was killing people. It was actually hysterical.
It's amazing.
It was really funny, actually. I remember laughing my ass off. But he showed us this shot that was a dolly shot of these people walking through the woods. And he goes, I want to show you this shot. Tell me what's wrong with it. Showed it to us. And I think he showed us the scene before, and so we knew the story and whatever. Or maybe we had already seen it. That's what it was. And someone's like, there's too much headroom, and it's like, the sound is bad, and whatever. And he goes, now I'm going to show it to you again, and I want you to look, after they pass the third tree, I want you to look deep. Don't look at them. And there was a reflector in the shot, in the middle of the woods, that nobody had seen before.
Exactly.
And it always impressed on me, like, you don't want that. But if the story is engaging, you can get away with anything. Anyway, I will say, I felt so badly when I did that, because it's like, you work so hard, and I'm like, I had told you I'm not going to see that. And then, of course, we called an audible during the shot, and I went over there, and I was like, oh, God. But it happens.
The other side to that, so I made a professional decision that, yeah, that was fine. Like, it was blurred out, it was background, we'll never tell.
Yep.
If we landed on it, and the focus was pulled that we could see it, that
Yeah.
they were stacked and it was bad.
Yeah, what do? You tell the director at that
I
point?
go
or-
to the script supervisor first
Yeah.
and talk it out with her and let the director know as well.
And basically, do you say, look, I don't think you're going to get away with being able to use this part of the shot because of this?
Yeah, editorial's not going to be able to
Yeah.
use that.
Yeah.
And at that point, they make a decision to go again because
Gotcha. Yeah.
it's a major mistake on, everyone's part that
Yeah.
we didn't get it. Or we just looked in a place we couldn't. When you go over and then you see BCam.
Yep.
It's like that. Is it cuttable? Is the director going to use that? Are they going to cut out of that? And they'll make that decision if it's so important we need to go again, or like, no, we're good. Moving
Yep.
on.
And do you walk over and go, I just want to let you know the camera operator screwed me?
No. You just got to keep it chill, and
No,
you
I
just show what's happening, and you just go, this is Dave's fault.
Yeah, this is absolutely, I don't want to say any names, but it's his fault right there. It's not my fault. He told me, which you should, because I completely told you I wasn't going to see that. And the funny thing is, on the next take, I remember specifically going, don't go too far to the right. Don't go too far to the right.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it again, but it happens. I want to ask you about some specific movies. You worked on Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes, that was an amazing experience with Martin Scorsese.
I mean, first of
directing.
all, when you get a job, you get called for the job with Martin Scorsese. You're just like out of your mind. I mean,
well, I thought my friend was. I thought the man who hired me was pulling my chain. I was like, funny, yeah.
let
That's cute.
me back up and ask you a question. Who hires you?
That's a good question.
Usually, I mean, or
Usually, who hires an on-set dresser? There's three different pathways. So the lead man, who is in charge of hiring the set dressers in the set decoration department, he will usually have a few on-sets that he uses.
okay,
But it's down to the decorator and the production designer to ultimately okay the on-set dresser.
gotcha. Okay,
So a decorator and a designer will be the last say in who gets hired.
so you get brought in by someone else, but they'll have the last. Let me see his resume, or I know him, or her, or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
because ultimately it comes down to the production designer because that's the top for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And as you progress in your on-set dressing career, you usually just get hired by a production designer or a set decorator.
That makes sense because at the end of the day, you're the final gatekeeper, right?
You are.
And that's like super. That's got to be more important than the set dressers because you can fix that if when you get to set or something like that. I mean, I don't want to say more important, but it's just like if it gets past them, there's still room to fix something or change something or whatever. But
I'm the last line of defense.
yeah,
For them.
yeah,
You know, after they dress a set, they go through different iterations of how they feel, they want it, they like it, but they can change it up to that point.
Yep.
But when a camera's on it, that's it.
that's it.
The last line of
yep,
defense.
Yep, exactly.
You know, so a lot of trust is put in
Makes
that
sense.
person to make sure that the drapes come down and they look really good because curtains are real big for bad curtains on set will really, really piss off a decorator
Oh,
and
yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
Because one, it shows you're not paying attention, you don't care.
Oh, that's interesting.
You
Yeah,
know,
I didn't think
because
about that.
you're in charge of the final vision and they can't be there, and they need to be somewhere else. So they really need to trust this person that is paying attention to make sure that the seam in the lampshade is not facing
there,
in front
yeah.
of you,
No, well,
and
it's
that it's not
details, right?
crooked.
Yeah.
because that will make it look shoddy.
Well, and I would think that if I was hiring someone, it's like I would assume that they're gonna get the big things, like the mass. It's
Yeah.
the details that actually make someone. Is there someone who's really good and someone who isn't? I would
Right.
imagine.
Yeah, and you can pick that up.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because a seam in a lampshade doesn't seem like a big deal to people, but that's our light source.
Yep.
And that's what's glowing in the background. And, a big seam down it is really gonna. So back to the question of who hires you. In the end, it's the production designer and it's the set decorator because
Yep.
you're the one in charge of their vision and that they rely on set. So they can walk away and keep doing their jobs because
Yeah.
they're so busy designing and decorating the next sets, they can't be on set.
Well, and they trust you. That's the key.
And then they
That's
trust you.
Really, what all this is about.
Because a bad on set could really throw it out.
Sure. Yeah.
One, you get a bad taste in the mouth with the operators because you're not there.
Yep.
If you're not there, they're doing your job. And then the grips end up becoming on set dressers because they're moving the couches around. They're moving things around
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're not present, you're not
Sure.
doing the thing. Unfortunately, and it happens
Yeah.
too.
So sorry, but I took you off track. Back to Killers of the Flower Moon. So you get the call. You don't believe it.
Oh, yes. So yeah, I don't believe it, but it was one of my lead man, Tony Ziegler. He's a phenomenal lead man, and he gives me the call. He says, "You want to go to Oklahoma for Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon?" And I'm like, "Haha, funny. That's a good joke.
Yeah.
What are we really going on to?" He said, "No, absolutely. Adam Willis, this great decorator, has called us, and it's for Jack Fisk, production designing, who is one of the great production designers that our industry has ever had." And we get the call. We pack up. It's a 6-month-long shoot. And we head out to the middle of Oklahoma. And it was so exciting because like the best of the best was brought out.
That's why I ask is like that's the show, right? You've made the game.
Absolutely. It could have been so much harder and so much more difficult because we were up against the elements every day because we didn't have a stage at all.
Oh,
we didn't
really?
shoot anything on a stage.
Oh, it was in not practical, but I mean like a built set on a
on all location.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we transformed the city of Powhuska, which was it's on the Osage Reservation,
Yeah.
which is the actual city that all this went down on.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marty was very, very strict on keeping this historically accurate as
Yeah.
much as possible and actually going to the places where the incidents happened
That's
and
cool.
shooting there. Even if it was like an hour and a half drive away from where same field that it looks
Yeah.
like, we went to that
Who cares?
field.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And, you know, all the heavy hitters were brought in and the crew were all pros. And we had challenge after challenge after challenge, but with such a great crew, it was seamless.
Yeah. And you're working with Scott Sakamoto. Which
Oh
is
my
just, like,
gosh, Sakamoto, what a
unbelievable, right? I mean, first of all, an amazing operator, but also just like a wonderful person.
so chill, so cool, very serious but fun as
Yeah.
well. He didn't suffer fools. Um, but watching him work was one of the greatest operating experience I ever
He's
seen.
a master. He is.
His moves were just so impeccable, and how he just got from A to B was wild. And I got the chance to do like fun special effects stuff, like with fishing line strings opening doors so he can get in without
Oh, that's great.
opening doors and closing doors for
Yep.
in and outs.
Oh, that's fun.
We were all just in these huge moves where just multiple people were happening in this house, and so many moving parts. It was like,
Those are the best when it's just like, okay, there's no way that this works. How do we figure out how this works?
Yeah.
And then everybody puts their mind to it. It's like,
exactly.
you know, yeah.
There's a guy behind that door, a guy under the ground, a guy he
Yeah.
has to step over, and then
Yeah,
the guy
and then
lowering
suddenly,
this
like,
down.
you're a kid going, let's put on a play, and you're just sort of like all figuring it out together. That's fantastic.
Those are the dream moments.
Yeah.
That's the ones where you walk away and you're like, wow.
I mean, was it overwhelming showing up on set and Marty Scorsese's there?
Yes. Yeah, that's the only answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think what it was is I pinched myself. I was like, am I really here? You know, I've got Martin Scorsese walking up, and he's like, all right, guys, we got this. Bang, bang, bang. Big finger guns guy.
Finger guns guy. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, coming in. But what Marty required was absolute silence
Interesting.
on set.
I love that.
And you know how fast and loud
Oh, yeah.
a set can get.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just bullshitting, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. Volume gets really loud. Marty walks in,
Boom.
and it's crickets.
Great.
And then, like, the one electrician or the one hair department person that's still talking, they're the only one talking.
I didn't realize
And
that.
Marty
Really
turns
quick.
and just gives you the eyebrow.
Yeah.
One eyebrow up.
And that's it.
And you have shut up and sunk into the shrubs.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. That's beautiful. And I mean, when you're, I've never worked with anybody like him. I think on that level. I mean, is it just impressive to watch him work, or when you watch it, is it just like, well, clearly he knows what he's doing, I mean, there's no question, but it's just like, nope, it's the same type of stuff that other people do, and just he has his way.
No, what was really impressive is he knew what he wanted, and it wasn't like 24 takes to get as much as possible.
I love
He
that.
was like 3 and done.
Well, also part of that is he's Martin Scorsese, and nobody's telling him what he needs to get. Some of these things, like, well, we got to get what the writer wants and what the director wants and what the producer wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
His MO was 3 takes and out. He would go in with the take that he had rehearsed with the actors beforehand, and they would do that. And then he would go in and give notes, and they would do those takes. And then he'd be like, all right, do whatever you want.
So here's a freebie.
Here's the freebie.
Yeah.
And then he'd let the actors run wild on the last one, and then, all right, moving on.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
And, also the mastery of watching him was watching his first AD, Adam Somner, which is the greatest first AD I've ever worked
It would
for.
have to be, right?
He's just so impeccable. He's got a backup plan to the backup plan. He is moving so fast. I'm like, how does your brain
That's incredible.
process this and move this? And that man did not suffer fools.
I'm sure.
And he would
You
let
can't.
you. He would let you know.
Yeah, you can't.
But because it was a rite of passage to be there. Like, you are at the top.
Yep.
Like, you're here. Act like you're here.
That's fantastic.
And if you're not supposed to be here, get out of
Go
here.
away. Well, there's someone willing to take your job. That's
Yeah.
great.
But watching those two together work, because he knew what Marty wanted, and he would move a whole crew. Like, I mean, I don't even know. Everyone would just move to his voice and his movements, and that was it. He was running that set.
That's fantastic.
300 background.
Yeah.
Just moving and shaking. Things mess up, and he would pivot in a moment to fix it.
Well, is working on a period piece easier, harder, better, worse? Like, does it make a difference? Is everything its own thing, or?
It's so much more challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so much harder. One, everything weighs a million more times.
Oh, I didn't think about that because it's real. Yeah,
because it's real.
Yeah.
It's oak. It's steel.
Oh,
and,
yeah. There's
you know,
that. So just the physicality of it.
Yeah. And then, for wardrobe, they're all builds. They have to build half of it, and you have 200 background in 1920s attire.
Yeah.
Everyone, all the work that goes into that, creating that level.
Sure.
And then everything that the art department has to do to bring this period piece to fruition, and then we need to add pieces. Well, we have to have those pieces to add.
Yeah.
And it's...
Does it change your job on set at all, or is your job pretty much the same because you're working with what's been given to you? Like,
yes, that stays the same because, well,
other than moving things, like you said,
a great challenge is you can't add, since for continuity and for all the Reddit people out there that want to pick apart a movie,
yeah, right?
You can't just add things because you want to. Here's a great example. Marty wanted a fan in this interrogation room.
Okay.
A stand-up fan. And this is 1919.
This was on the day or ahead of time?
This is on the day.
On the day, okay. On the day seems like it would be the big problem, right?
Yeah.
You can't go to Kmart and go pick something up.
And pick up 1920s stand-up fan.
Yeah.
Well, it came to reality. Marty goes, I want a fan. I want a stand-up fan right here. And the other on-set dresser, Eric Luling, and I were talking about it, and he brings up a great point. He's like, I don't know if they had fans
that's what I was going to say.
like that.
Maybe they didn't exist.
And Marty goes, I have this great fan in my room right now. Send a PA to go get it. Well, it was like a knockoff old fan from like 2000.
Yeah.
And he brings this fan in, and we look at the fan, and we're like, oh, God. We can't put this in the movie.
And now let me ask you a question. Is there a moment where you're both looking at you, you're like, you tell him. No, you tell him.
Yeah. We're like, oh, gosh. So we call, in those moments, that's when you call the production designer, call Dad, and be like, hey, man, this is going on. Marty wants to put in this fan, and it's not period. And Jack Fisk is such a fantastic production designer. And Adam Willis, the decorator, they would die if that thing made it in the film after all their hard work to get to this point, to blow continuity.
Yeah.
And so Jack comes, and he's so knowledgeable. He talks to Marty and goes, hey, they didn't even have stand-up fans. They didn't even exist
They hadn't been
at
invented
that point.
yet.
They had not been invented yet.
Yeah.
So this can't happen. So we had to call in the production designer to put out that fire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have made it in.
It would have made it in.
And so it was our job to flag it, talk to the person who can talk to the man.
Yeah.
And then work it out.
But the irony of it is invariably, in the long run, you're doing exactly what you were saying. Scorsese wanted everything to be authentic.
Yes.
But something has gotten in his mind that visually he wants this, and he's let go of that for a minute. So you need someone to bring him back to that and go, this isn't what you want, and this is why.
How do you tell Martin Scorsese no?
That's sort of why I asked. It's one of those things where you're like, who am I to tell this person that? Yeah. But then,
when it was explained to him, he was like, absolutely. All right.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. And the fan did not make it into the movie.
Fan, thank God, did not make it into the movie.
But I'm assuming it was a great experience to work on that.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It was a feather in the cap, and it was the point in my career when I was like, okay, I think I belong here.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay.
How long had you been doing this by then?
Let's see. Probably 4 years, 5 years.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good
job.
Well, that's because you're amazing at your job, but still, not everybody who's amazing at their job actually gets the opportunities. That's fantastic.
Well, paying attention and working hard and taking it very seriously is like, I think gets you a lot farther than just thinking of it as a job that you clock into every day.
There's no question because look, the minute that I met you and we started working together, I recognized like you take this seriously.
Yeah.
But there's you take this seriously, but you also know when it's like that old song, Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. It's like you know when to hold them, you know when to show them, you know when to walk away, you know when to run. But it's like there's certain things you'll fight for because it's like no, this is absolutely going to be a problem, and there's we can judge this and that'll work because you realize that everybody else has a job too. So I think that's a fine line, and
It is a fine line.
And as an operator, it's one of those things where it's like I mean I've been in the situation where the director wants handheld and the DP wants Steadicam, and you're like,
Both of you are my bosses.
Exactly, and you have to do those things. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question about it. Other movies that you've worked on that are worth. You worked with Ari Aster, right?
I did just recently. I worked with Ari Aster
Dream.
on his new movie Eddington, and that was with the director of photography Darius Kanji.
It's unbelievable. Like I can't. The two of them, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was
artists.
wild, and Darius was a gem. I mean,
Yeah.
my gosh, I love that man so much.
Oh,
We had such a great time. His care and crafting and sculpting of light was
he's a genius.
phenomenal. Yeah, he's just painting with light
No,
all day.
there's no question about it.
And then Ari's tenacity, like he knew what he wanted all the time, and he was so involved in the power of the direction and the light and the camera moves and the lenses, like more involved as a director than I had seen before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask because his movies are auteur movies. There's no question about it. And they've been shot by different people, but they still have it's his design. He knows exactly
Every shot
every frame
is sculpted in his brain.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he really has the whole thing in his head.
And does that flow into your department as well? Like he's like, no, I need this lamp there, I need this couch there.
Absolutely. And I worked so close with him on the movie too. So once they can trust you as an on-set that's paying attention and with you, you become a tool for all of them. And then they trust you, and then they're going to you instead of just asking the first AD that we need this done, and then they go down the line of how it needs to happen. They're like, Aaron, this is how we want to craft it. And then in the next scene, we're going to turn around and do this. Do we have this available, and can we pull this off?
How do we do
I'm
this?
like, absolutely. Let's call in the troops.
Yeah.
And we can sculpt shots and ideas and change things as they come up as we talk about them. And that's a really fun relationship too that you get to have if you're there and doing your job. You get to be a collaborator and co-creator with the director, the DP, and the camera operators.
Mm-hmm.
It's very exciting. It's an honor, and like you're in there making movies with them.
There's no question. And you just said something. You've said it a couple times in this, which I think is so valuable. It's like trust is the biggest part of this industry.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but like day one on a shoot, I'm introducing myself to as many people as possible. I'm forgetting most of their names because I'm terrible with names and I hate that about myself. But I'm trying to like glom onto something so I can remember who they are and what they do and whatever. And then slowly as the days pass, I go, okay, all right, so the boom operator is really good. I can trust the boom operator. I don't have to think about the boom operator. This person, I don't know about yet. This person, I have to keep an eye on because this is like, and I think you start to do that to where then you realize like who you can rely on, who are the go-to people. Do you do the same thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like a big thing is I will watch how the grip department is operating in a set. Like at first I'll be like, hey guys, I got that. Because they're probably used to like
as far as moving things out of the way and whatnot. Yeah.
And like a camera operator, a cam operator that's real handsy, they like to move stuff because they're used to it.
Yep.
And not, just forming that relationship, be like, okay, I am here, I'll be your guy.
Yeah.
But when you form that bond and that trust, you can be like, okay, we're cool. We have a relationship. They know to call me. Or if they don't care, I'm just going to watch them a little more.
Yep.
I'm going to pay attention to what they're doing to make sure something doesn't slip on my end.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I gotta babysit that a little more to make sure that, if they're going to move stuff and they don't care, we don't have a bond or a relationship, I just got to pay attention a little more.
And actually, now that we're talking about this, is for younger camera operators, I think, or any camera operators, it's important. It's almost like on day one and day two, I'll probably over ask you about stuff because I want to let you know that I appreciate what you do and that I respect what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we get crazy into production, because you trust me and I trust you, it's a little easier to go, oh, you know what? I have to move. You weren't there, so I moved this lamp to the left. And you'll invariably go, yeah, totally. Let me take a picture of it so I can reset it. That's fine. Or I'll call you over and go, I moved that limb to the left, but did I go? What do you think? Did I go too far? Can you just make it better or whatever? But I think you got to start on that level of like, because I would imagine that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would imagine that onset dressers are more wary of the camera operators who are like those people who are moving crap and never telling them. So right off the bat, that you're trying to figure out like, does this person respect what I do and can I trust them?
Right, and how to approach it, because it could be intimidating too, especially if you don't have an experienced on set. If a set dresser has been thrown onto set to fill a void and they don't understand how the mechanics of a set work,
Yep.
you will inherently hold back, because either you're intimidated by the situation or you don't know how to speak up for yourself.
Yeah, or how to actually get the point across without like it being a battle as opposed to
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because the majority of the job is communication and respect.
Yep.
And finding and striking a balance between everyone and their craft, and knowing where you're overstepping and knowing what your place is. Because it's easy to go over. So you have to know what's okay and what the boundaries are. And I think it's important, we discussed this earlier, just creating a bond early and establishing respect and awareness with your operators from the top, showing them that you care and that you're there for them is a big step, because every single show you have to prove yourself. You have to prove your worth. You have to show these established people that, one, you're here, you're paying attention, and you're here for them. And every show you have to do that, because unless you work with the same people all the time, which we both know that's very rare,
Sadly.
you have to reestablish this situation early and often.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. What's the hardest part about your job?
I think the hardest part about my job is knowing how to make the decisions in the balancing act of what the director, the DP wants, and what the decorator and the designer want.
Yeah.
And to make sure that you are serving both camps, because they're all your boss. But you have to make sure that the decorator designer's vision is not stepped on or not seen, all while making sure that the DP and the director get what they need as well. So finding and striking that balance is proven to be a pretty big challenge through each movie and feature that I do. Other than that, the hardest part of the job is maintaining relationships with all of the departments that are doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's fighting for space, everyone's fighting for their positions being understood. It's like, I got to work with sound, I got to work with the grips, I have to work with electrics, I have to work with the gaffer all day, I have to work with the operators and the first ADs and the PAs, literally working with everybody to give them what we need moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, it could seem like a minuscule job. You're just moving furniture for a grip and a camera. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like maintaining a balance and a relationship with each and every department to give them space to do their job. Because they're always asking you for something.
You told me a story that I wanted to ask you about Ari Aster putting you in his movie. You want to share that?
Sure. That was great.
And does this mean you're going to stop being an on-set dresser and move straight into acting? Or is there
Oh, no. I'm terrified in front of the camera. Yeah. I went back to do reshoots. I was lucky enough to be available to go finish the reshoots. And it was nice because, at the end of a feature, everyone's burnt out, beat up. And, you don't get a farewell easy.
Yeah.
It's just like, hang up the spurs, and everyone just walks away
Yeah,
in
the dust
quiet
settles on
silence.
it. Yep.
Yeah, see you later.
Yep.
So we got to go back to do reshoots. Ari was there with our Bare Bones team, and we were all rested, and we got to revisit what it was and have this kind of nice warm moment again together. So as we were talking about a new shot that Ari had crafted, everything was reshoots, and then we had this one new scene that we were shooting, and Ari's sitting there scratching his face going, man, I really need a all-in-one band, like a one-man band to be playing this wedding reception, because we were shooting a wedding reception for Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone, and it was their wedding reception that we were shooting.
Okay.
And the decorator, Adam Willis, is standing with Ari and I, and he goes, well, Aaron's a harmonica player. Why don't you put him in there? And Ari just looks at me and goes, yeah. Aaron, do you have your harmonicas? And I'm like, well, yeah. They're in my bag. He goes, do you have a cowboy hat? And I'm like, I do. Oh man, this is going to be perfect. Will you do it? And so I did, and I sent him some songs that I had, and he chose the one that he thought would best fit the script and fit the scene. And we shoot a whole day, and then we get to our final scene, and I get into costume. I get in front of the camera, and I'm next to Joaquin and Emily, and it's action. I play this beautiful opening, which is supposed to be the speech, but instead Ari wanted the song to be the speech. So I do this harmonica song. I sit down, and then they get into their scene and his speech.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it nerve-wracking, or did you
Yes.
just
I thought it'd be cool, and then I was like, oh wow, this is happening.
Was it completely weird to be in front of the camera? Or did you not even notice it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't too weird, because, I'm in front of the camera all day, but it's not, it's never while I'm rolling.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like,
yeah.
It seems like when they call action, there'd be that part to be like, wait, why am I'm supposed to be back there? What am I doing?
It popped into my head immediately. It's like, oh, you're in front of the camera, so you need to play by the rules.
Yeah.
No fidgeting with your hands. No looking at the camera. All the things that you that you call the extras out on, and the actors are like, oh, looking straight at the camera.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Put your hands on your legs. Just pantomime, do your thing.
Awesome.
Like,
I can't wait to see this movie now. That's great. That's
man. And Joaquin was just a gem. Like, my gosh, he was so great to us.
Was he?
He really was. I've never had a better experience with
I've
an
heard
actor.
nothing but great things about him, which is interesting because he's method and you would think he could be very tough. Like people worked on Joker and whatnot, but they said no, he's like in character, but he's also like, he's very much there for you and understands the process and everything.
He treated every single one of us with the utmost respect.
That is fantastic.
And he really, really shined on you when you were good at your job.
That's great.
Which was just wonderful. It was the best feeling ever that I've got from an actor. So,
well, Aaron, this has been fantastic. I know that this is not the last time that we're going to work together because, as I've mentioned to you, you're now in my deal memo, which means you're going to have to take some movies you don't want to, but I don't really care. But no, this has been really eye-opening, and I'm so happy because I really wanted to get an on-set dresser around here because the truth of the matter is, I kind of view you as part of the camera department, in all honesty. Like, yeah, you don't touch the camera, but you're so involved in everything that's in front of it, more so than many others. It's fantastic and great to work with you. And this has been great. I'm going to leave you with the question that I leave everybody with, and then after that, ask you to take us out with some of your fantastic harmonica playing. But the question is, what advice would you give to someone getting into the business now on how to succeed, and or what do you wish you knew back then that you now know that you could tell your younger self?
Oh, that's a great question. And thank you, Dave, for having me on here. This has been really awesome. I think good advice for somebody entering the industry now in the position I'm in or around would be to remember that we're making art. that it's really lucky to be here. To not think of it as I'm just clocking in and clocking out. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be told, and that's it, and that's enough, and that's all I should be doing. To really take the moment seriously and put all of your passion, all of your love, all of your dreams into this moment, because there's all these things coming to this one moment to make this artistic vision a reality. And if you go into it with love and respect and your own personal vision of love and respect, then it's a piece of art that you're making as well. And it's yours as well. You get to be a part of it instead of just being a piece of it. So I think that's a really good way to look at it, about how you're going to put yourself into it. And as well, it's a phenomenal opportunity to meet a whole world of family members. Like, how lucky are we to be at this moment right now making movies with all these fantastic creatives? It's such a huge honor to be a part of it every time, no matter how big or small, because we're getting to make movies. I think it's very exciting, and we're all very lucky to be here. And then, advice for my younger self. I think the best advice that I wish I would have got when I was younger is pay attention. Pay attention more than you think you should. Put the extra mile into it. Read the script 3 times. Go into every day as if you're going to get asked the big questions, so you have all the answers. Push yourself harder than you thought you would need to, because you're around pros. And really watch and learn from everybody, and never think that you have it all figured out, because every day is a brand new learning experience, and every day you're going to learn something from somebody else. Be kind, be open, and just be ready to work your ass off.
That's it.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. We'll be back soon with another great episode. Don't forget to check us out on theop.io for all sorts of information on operating and storytelling. So thanks for listening, and have a great day.